At Kroger, we know the minute a tomato is picked, the fresh timer starts. The sooner we get our produce to you, the fresher it is. That's why we've shortened the time from harvest to home for our tasty tomatoes, strawberries, and salads. So no matter how you shop, you have more time with your fresh produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Louisiana Swamplands. Out here, you're either lunch or you're enjoying it. Make sure you end up on top with the all-powerful lineup of Kia SUVs, like the Telluride, Sportage, and Sorento, equipped with available all-wheel drive, higher ground clearance, and the interior capacity to bring everything you need, so you'll always remain more than a gator's length ahead. Visit your local Kia dealer today to find your next adventure in our ever-capable lineup of SUVs. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely.
The Fraudcast is a diverse podcast dedicated to diverse views. As such, we attract a large variety of listeners and guests. The views and opinions expressed by the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the podcast or its hosts. Any content provided is of their own opinion and not intended to malign any person, group, or organization. Appearance on the Fraudcast does not represent endorsement or acceptance of their views, either explicitly or implicitly. Listen responsibly.
Greetings and salutations, Dr. Lexi.
How are you?
I am tired.
Oh no.
I'm so exhausted. Like, oh my God. Just been going and going and going. But I'm like, I got my cherry Coke Zero here and I got a backup.
I have my Coke Zero too tonight.
Oh, is it cherry Coke Zero?
No, just regular.
Wow. So yeah, I have a backup ready to go. Like that's the alcoholic. that's the alcoholic behavior right there. Right.
You're just planning ahead.
I am. Oh, here she is, Miss America.
I am so excited for
I
tonight.
am too. And like, we'll announce it. Well, by the time this they'll have read the description and it's all fine. It's all fine.
Hi, Kristen.
Hello.
Hey. Oh, 1 second. I think so on. 1 second. Hi. Sorry. I was. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Alexis, I can get. There you are.
I told her not to worry about the video. We weren't uploading it on YouTube.
Oh yeah. I don't think so because I got like I didn't do this whole thing I got a whole situation thing happening.
Oh,
it's just like it's not pretty.
I'm just in the dark and I really don't want to disconnect to turn on my light, so I'm just gonna sit here.
No, that's fine. I have a 8-week-old, so I'm not looking my best.
Congratulations. He's so cute.
Yeah, congratulations. 8 weeks. Like that's still in the ship. Like you are not even like a conscious at that point, right? Like
yes, definitely still in it. He's pretty good. He's easier than his sister was. Overall, but definitely still a little sleep deprived. So,
well, yeah, I think you look beautiful.
Well, thank you.
So,
absolutely. I mean,
yeah. So, Kristen is my god sister, if that's a real thing. Like, my dad is her godfather.
Yeah, that's like a real thing. I think. Yeah.
I bring that up to people and they're like, what's a god sister? And I say it and they're like, oh, I didn't know that had a name, but it makes sense.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But we have you on tonight for a very special episode. This episode has been requested by audience, by listeners. We are going to do a sort of primer, if you will, to get everyone up to speed on Scandoval. Like, I know, like, if you listen to us, we know, you've heard it, you've seen it, whatever. What is it? Da, da, da. What is it even related to? It's related to the show Vanderpump Rules. Well, what's that? Da, da, da. We're going to go and explain all that. We are going to bring you up to speed on all of that. So unless you're living under a rock, you have heard this, right? And you may not know Vanderpump Rules, or like, where do I catch up? Or like, is there a lot of history to catch up on? Can I just watch the reunion, which is just started airing this week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what am I going to do? Like, how do I get caught up on it? Well, you have come to the right place, because we are going to catch you up to speed. Kristen is our subject matter expert on all things Vanderpump Rules and Scandoval. So she is going to take us step by step, piece by piece, through everything you need to know. You can get right here in a capsule format. It's fantastic. If I was like a fucking syllabus, I mean, if this was a syllabus for a college course, like, we'd be locked in, right? Okay. So I'll just turn it over. I'm just going to turn it over to our subject. Well, okay, I was just going to say, let me preface it by saying this. You have no knowledge, Alexis, of Vanderpump Rules. Like, the show exists, right?
Well, the only knowledge I know is what I've seen on social media by people posting things, whether it be TikTok videos or, little clips here and there. I see David Spade posted about Vanderpump Rules. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, celebrities are posting about this show and the Scandoval or whatever. But I don't know all the details. I know that I reached out to Kristen because she's my like Bravo expert. And I know she follows a lot of Bravo shows.
So your level of knowledge.
So she sent me like 15 voice messages on Instagram to tell me about it.
Oh,
and
I
that's
heard
when
about.
I knew I had her on.
Yes, yes. So, but just so like, what kind of base we're working with here? You have like no knowledge of the show. You've never watched Vanderpump Rules. No. You don't know who these people are.
No, I'm excited. Yeah.
So my level of knowledge is like mid-level. So I used to watch the show. I've seen like the first, I don't know, maybe 5-6 seasons, something like that. Like, I saw up until where Brittany came on the scene to be with Jax. So I saw up right around there, like James Lala. There was some of that, but I missed like the Randall stuff and all of that. Mm-hmm. But I I wouldn't say followed it on social media, but it was, we run in enough same circles on social media that I saw a decent amount of it. And I, catch up here and there, but then it was like this new wave of people, and I didn't know who all these new people were. But then Scandoval hits, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know who these people are. Like, I know these people, what happened here, and but I don't know the story, right? I don't know what happened this last season or so. I've had it explained to me, the outline of what's going on, and I cannot wait to hear all the more juicy details, because I've just heard like the outline juicy details, and that just seems like crazy. So with that baseline here, and then we have you, who's our subject matter expert. So take it away.
Well, I'm honored to be called a subject matter expert on Vanderpump Rules. Like I said, I'm on maternity leave right now, so I have a lot of time on my hands when the baby is sleeping and everything to participate in watching Bravo, watching the TikToks about Bravo and all of that stuff. So especially late at night when I'm feeding. So that's partially probably why I am currently an expert on this. But I'll just start diving in a little bit, and then like feel free to jump in and like ask any questions, or if I'm like going too far down one of the rabbit holes, because honestly the show's been on for 10 seasons. There's tons of different relationships from seasons past, current, other side sort of like stories that you can like just easily get into. So I'll try and focus just on Scandoval, but there are some things that I will touch on just to give a little bit of context about stuff. But so for folks who are like completely unfamiliar with Vanderpump Rules, the show is basically the idea and created around Lisa Vanderpump, who was a former cast member of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She owns a bunch of restaurants in West Hollywood, and was like, I have all these beautiful people that work at my restaurants, and they're all friends, and they're all hooking up with one another, and they have tons of drama. And anyone's
Typical
ever
restaurant
worked,
life.
yeah,
Typical
I was
restaurant
gonna
life.
say,
Yeah.
as Alexis would know, I worked in restaurants like this. This is what happens. So it's like, this is perfect reality television. And so there are people on the show right now who have been on the show from the beginning. There are people that were, in the show from the beginning and are not there anymore. And there are new faces. So it has changed a little bit, but a lot of the folks we're talking about right now are, like you were saying, Trina, like they've been here from the beginning.
Right.
So
The original.
yeah. So if you hadn't watched it in a while, you could definitely jump in this season.
I was watching, there was, they were in preparation for all of this, right? This they're playing with the reunions and stuff, the tell-alls. They've been doing these, marathons, right?
Yeah.
So I caught it the other day and I was watching, I was like, oh, this is like way back in the day, like when I used to watch it. And it was like the season, it was like Kristen was still picking stuff up from Sandoval's house, right? And Ariana was there, and there's this like, okay, well, why is Kristen getting all dressed up and and all this stuff? And then I completely forgot that Kristen and Sandoval had dated for like 6 years, like,
right.
And then that was when Ariana and Sandoval were getting together, obviously. And there's some question. I hope you're going to get into this about their origin. Like, was he cheating on Kristen with Ariana? And so I'm anxious for all of it.
You touch on a good point, because and that's the other thing I was going to say is like, there's like a running theme through every pretty much season of this show is that somebody's being accused of infidelity or cheating, or it's proven that they've cheated. So this is like a constant on this show. Yeah. And like on the reunion, like this week, on Wednesday, Andy Cohen even said, like, all of you pretty much, except for a couple people, have been guilty, former cast members and the current ones, guilty of cheating, right? Either with someone else in the group or someone else, someone outside of the group. So why is this such like a big deal? Like, why is everyone like just like completely crucifying these two people when everyone's done it? And I think it's a very valid question, but I think once we go through sort of like the timeline, the depths like to which they went in order to continue this affair, the things that were said and done, and like how now sort of like blatantly obvious a lot of things were like in Ariana's face, I think there's a really big difference than like we got drunk and like hooked up one night. Yeah. And this like 7-month affair.
So I asked a friend of mine who's a very avid Vanderpump Rules fan and watcher, and she's like, I need somebody to talk about the Scandoval with. And I'm like, we're gonna do an episode on it, but I don't know. I'm like, what really is such a big deal about this? He cheated, like, what's the big deal, right? And she's like, oh no, this is her best friend and they were all living together, and then there was this, and then there was this, and then and I was like, oh, like, okay, so that's not necessarily your run-of-the-mill just cheating story. So I guess that's a good place to start too, and be like, okay, there's a reason this particular infidelity situation has sparked what it has sparked.
Well, and before we even get into that, can we just talk about, he just looks like a tool. Like he looks
that
like
mustache.
He's a worm with a mustache. That's what,
I was like Googling him. I'm like, who is this guy? And then Kristen, you told me he was in town in DC for a concert. So I went on like the Howard Theater, wherever, I don't remember what theater he was at, but I was like, oh, he's like dancing around. I'm like, who is this dude? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
His like 15-piece band. It's like the most ridiculous thing. I like my husband is like really into music and everything, and he has like a group of guys that like sometimes we jam together, and I'm like, you guys need to listen to this and like tell me for real, like, are they actually good? Like, like he can't even sing. It's and like halfway through his shirt comes off, like, and he's just like topless for like the rest of the show, and it's like, wait.
Okay, so let's start there. Who's Tom Sandoval?
Yes. Let's start with Tom and Ariana, the two main characters right now that we're talking about. So Tom and Ariana are two original cast members. So basically been on since the beginning of the show. As we mentioned, Tom was in a relationship with someone else when the show first aired named Kristen. They had been together for a while. Very tumultuous relationship. They both had cheated on each other. They'll tell you, and Kristen will say it to this day. I think she's saying that on a lot of the interviews she's doing now. It was not a healthy relationship, and people are trying to compare it to what Ariana and Tom had, and it's not the same.
Not at all, right?
Yeah. And so Ariana and Tom had become close. Ariana was a bartender at a different restaurant that Lisa owned. From what I understand, they made out in a pool. I think it's like the Golden Nugget. I think.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what only because I just watched it the other day.
Yeah. And he gets like judged super hard by Stassi.
Oh God, Stassi.
Like, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about how much I
Nugget?
loved hated Stassi.
I know.
We got a little bit sidetracked, shock earlier. So this is a reality show based at this restaurant called Sir, SUR,
Yes.
Sexy Unique, whatever it is. Whatever.
Oh yeah, Sir. Yeah. And so
That's what it stands for. Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so it's all the servers and stuff there. And so they did. So Lisa Vanderpump, think whatever you will about her. She's a damn good businesswoman and she knows a business opportunity when she sees it. So she's doing this. And so this follows those people, right?
Yeah.
And I love telling the story. I used to go to AA meetings across the street from Sir. And in some of those early seasons, you can sometimes see our druggy buggy in the parking lot when they're out back, sitting out back having cigarettes and stuff. Sometimes you can see our 16 passenger van, white druggy buggy that's parked there.
Oh, that's wild.
So, anyway, I don't know that it was any time, I don't know if I was there, but that's our druggy buggy. Anyway, continue, please.
Oh, it's so interesting to know based on the relationship that so many of those people have with alcohol on this show.
I know,
so
right?
That's just really interesting. So Tom, Ariana together started dating after he broke up with Kristen, and that was a whole mess. I recommend people go back and watch the drama between Kristen and Tom and all that in their breakup. But they've dated for 9 years. They've been together ever since. So other than her sort of stepping in to Tom and Kristen's relationship, there's one other instance of cheating, accusations in their relationship. And it was very early on. I think it was 2014. And people will hear and maybe see TikToks of people talking about Miami Girl. So Miami Girl is someone that apparently Tom hooked up with in Miami, Florida, when he was with the guys. When they come back, another former cast member, Jax, sort of lets it spill. I know.
Jax.
I know.
Does
but
he still have a coke problem?
I think he's kind of cleaned up. He's married now with Brittany. They have their son. I think he seems like he's gotten himself together. He's grown up a little bit, I hope.
He would get in weird pissing contests with the most obscure side character of 90 Day. It was the weirdest crossover ever. I remember following it going, and I don't know. Jax did, I don't know. It was one of those blocked by Jax or, things. Somehow I got involved. I don't know. I didn't even cover him, but it was just the most bizarre set of, I'm this is a crossover nobody asked for. What?
Well, I think he has I think they just released some merch that's you can get hashtag blocked by Jax t-shirts. So you should go.
Not available in our merch store, but thanks.
So that was the only other incident. Tom flat out denied that he hooked up with Miami Girl. And they actually Miami Girl. It's so funny people call her Miami Girl. I don't think anyone actually knows her name.
I was gonna say
I would call her name if I knew it, but I still don't know if anyone has ever figured it out. She actually flew out to California to confront Tom in Sir and was we slept together, blah, blah, blah. And he's no, we didn't. We did not. And Ariana's there. Ariana's defending Tom, all of this stuff. So we have learned with all this stuff that's going down now that he did actually hook up with her and that Ariana knew. And she sort of vouched for him. She lied for him. Because it was early on in their relationship, and she said they weren't technically, they weren't technically together, fully exclusive yet, and so she was like, I'm just gonna let this go, and then we'll start a relationship from now until forever. So
Red flag.
right. I know.
How you find him is how you leave him. Listen.
Plot twist, she's actually from Iowa, not Miami. And she flew in. No kidding.
Wait, isn't Iowa where Brittany's from?
Kentucky.
Oh, well, close enough.
Kentucky.
Close enough. One of those corn-fed states. Flyover states.
So yeah. So other than that, like I really can't think of, and again, like I'm running on little sleep. So I'm sure someone will be like, you forgot this. But other than that, like they've been pretty ride or die for each other. You know, Ariana will definitely check Tom over the years, but she vouched for him and she really went to bat for him a lot and defended him when people were really pissed off, justifiably so, and for a lot of reasons. But they own a house together. They've done business together. They wrote a book together. They called each other life partners. We can talk about it a little bit more, but they were in the process of creating embryos together. He was going to fertilize her frozen eggs this season. Like you watch him go and get his sperm tested.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like stuff that I talk about when we're talking about like how much more fucked up this situation is versus like regular cheating. It's like this guy was literally gonna like fertilize her eggs that she went and froze.
Yeah, like they were at a different stage of life than Kristen and Tom were when Kristen and Tom were dating.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, so that, you know, that's them, like, again, very healthy, you know, for all intents and purposes, relationship that we can understand. Probably the most stable, I would say, out of all of them that we've seen over the years, which isn't saying much because it's ridiculous. All the relationships
they always seem different to me. And like, I mean, wasn't she not as central to a lot of the drama at SUR because she didn't actually work at SUR?
Well, yeah, and then she started working there, and like I think she also is just like a kind of person that doesn't really like drama, you know what I mean? She was never, this is probably the biggest story that has centered on her, honestly. That I'm trying to like remember, you know, a lot of it. I used to remember Jax being in center of a lot of the scandals over the years. And Tom Sandoval, honestly, too, because he would kind of insert himself into other people's drama, but like Ariana was never really that kind of person. She kind of just was a little more.
Katie and Tom Schwartz were at the center of a lot, but not Tom Sandoval.
Yeah. And so they're actually the second couple I was going to talk about. So there's two Toms, which I know is extremely confusing for everybody. And
that's why we go by Sandoval and
Schwartz. Yeah. And they're like two peas in a pod, in a disgusting pod, basically.
Like filthy kind of like,
just like gross,
covered.
Right. Misogynistic, just nasty pod.
Smells like schmegma.
How old are these people, by the way? Are they like
Sandoval's 40? I think.
Oh my God.
I don't know if he's over. I don't know if he's over 40, but I know he's 40. I don't know Tom.
They've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. I've been doing it for a really long time.
Yeah.
So Tom and Katie are also original cast members. They were actually dating long before this like show was like on air. So they were together. Tom never really worked at SUR. There was like a hilarious episodes where he like tried to be a bartender and he had like a meltdown like after like trying to make like one cocktail. That was it. But he's like modeling and stuff, I guess, is his thing. But he was on it because Katie was on it and Katie worked at SUR. So they've been together a very long time. They've been married for 3 years. That was like a huge storyline for them about like Schwartz never proposing, the ring on the string, if people are familiar with that. Like,
and them never having sex. Like
yes, that yes.
Their relationship was doomed from the start. Are they still married?
No, so that's really what I think everyone that watched like the previews for the show and everything, I think we were all sort of under the impression that was going to be like the storyline, was that they were separated, they were going to be getting a divorce, and we'll get to Raquel, Rachel, whatever we want to call her. People are
and there's a story behind that.
Yeah.
Which you'll get to.
Yeah. And Raquel being interested in Tom Schwartz, Katie's soon to be ex-husband. And so that was like what seemed to be what the season was going to be about, the drama. Really, I mean, there was other side stories, but really that was going to be like the central focus of this. And so, so they were separated, living apart at this point. They had made a pact that they could, they wanted to remain friends, or as friendly as possible. So they decided, we are not going to hook up with anybody in the friend group. Like, you can hook up with anybody else. You can go out and do whatever you want, before the divorce is finalized, but just not with anybody in this group, or within even former cat, whatever, just anyone that we're friends with mutually. Which obviously with Raquel sort of inserting herself in the relationship becomes an issue.
And I don't even know who she is, because she wasn't on when I was watching it. So I don't know when she came on. So I'm very curious to hear how that all came about.
So I talk about Raquel and James Kennedy together, DJ James Kennedy, if everyone's familiar. He calls himself the White Kanye. I think he still calls himself the White Kanye. I don't know if he still does that anymore, but he used to. Yeah. He's actually everyone's fan favorite right now for the entire series after the season. And he is kind of just, I think he's one of the only guys you can actually I think for the most part. So that's probably part of it. But Raquel comes on the scene. So James, I'll back up. So Kristen and Tom Sandoval break up. Mm-hmm. Tom Sandoval starts dating Ariana. Kristen starts dating DJ James Kennedy. So that's how James came on the scene. He was a busboy at SUR. Then he was a DJ on the side. He started DJing at SUR. And that was his sole thing, was DJing. Again, a very tumultuous relationship, not healthy, not good. Definitely good that Kristen and James broke up. James starts dating Raquel. Raquel, from my understanding, was a fan of the show, somebody who had been watching, was a big fan. She went to one of his shows and they met, and then that's when they started dating. And so she got on the show by dating James. So people can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And it's also how he met his new girlfriend Allie, which is interesting. So it's just you just
little fan club.
Yeah. So they dated. They were actually, it's funny because I had to look back because I didn't realize it was this long, but they were together for 5 years, Raquel and James. And last season, towards the end of last season, they get engaged. A very elaborate engagement. It's Coachella themed because it was during COVID, so Coachella was canceled. So they didn't go.
It fucking was.
Well, it gets even better. They called it Rochella for Raquel, Rochella for Raquel. Oh. And Tom Sandoval paid for almost all of it. He paid tens of thousands of dollars for this performers, aerial artists, and all this. Yeah, there's scenes of him cutting $3,000, $4,000 checks to all these different vendors.
Why?
Yeah, we know he's selling
Have the sleuths figured out did they know each other back then maybe? And so trying to.
So Tom and James were close. So this is why I'm mean. There's so many different side stories that go on here.
Yeah. We need a dry erase board in the red.
Seriously,
screen.
I recommend people going on TikTok and looking up these dry erase board, crazy, beautiful mind situations.
Yes,
that
that's exactly what I'm picturing. Right?
Yeah, because they're really good and they actually really help you out. But
with pictures, you need pictures.
Yeah. yes. But James and Tom Sandoval were going to be roommates when he was breaking up. They were going to move in together, and then Kristen started hooking up with James. So they were friends, James and Tom Sandoval. So they've known each other for a long time.
They both. Yeah, Kristen. Okay.
Yeah.
Bros before hoes. No.
Yeah. So Kristen gets dumped. So you can put it I don't know if this is exactly what happened, but Kristen gets dumped by Tom. And she's and he's now hooking up with Ariana. And she's okay, I'm going to screw your friend James. But I don't know if that was her logic, but whatever. So he's known James for a long time, and they've remained close throughout the 5 years that James had been on the longer than that he's been on the season or the series. And I think people were kind of why is he paying for all of this? But I guess they was just he's his good friend, you know what I mean?
All right.
But it did seem very odd to people that he's just dropping tens of thousands of dollars on this engagement that it's not his. It's not even it's not his engagement.
Now, is he super rich or something? I mean, you said that he has 20 people in his audience at the shows. So
And he like had, I mean, he had to borrow money from his mom's retirement account to open their current restaurant. I mean, there's parts of this season where he's like trying to like pay and like Venmo like his members of his 30-piece band. I'm gonna keep upping the number of how many people are in his band. I'll just go from like 15 to 20 to 30. So I think people are kind of like, how does he? I mean, obviously he gets paid to be on the show and he has like other things, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So the key part is that James and Raquel, they got engaged. Sandoval paid for it, but the engagement, she calls it off before the reunion last year. They break it off, she initiated that, and actually at the reunion last year, she like gives him back the ring, like she's like, "Do you want this back?" So that's how like recent, I guess it is.
Okay.
James pretty much immediately finds a new girlfriend named Allie. Again, like I think they met at one of his shows. She seems very nice, and she actually people are actually like calling like her like a heroine of the season, and you'll hear why. But she, you know, she actually, and she calls James on a lot of his shit too, which is actually really good because I think
is James still like a raging alcoholic or?
No, so he actually was sober for a few seasons. Like Lala's like sober now on the show, and so the two of them were sober together for a while. This season he has started drinking again, but he does not seem to be like the crazy drunk that he was like of years gone by. He does have some moments this season where he lashes out, but honestly, I probably would have lashed out in those moments too, whether I was sober or not, because people were really messing with him. So he is more like sane, I would say, than he was in his early years. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But Rachel Raquel, she is single this season, beginning of the season, or so we think. So we all think.
Right. What we see front facing.
right. So there's other like cast members on. Sheena, who's been on the show from the beginning. You see her get married this season.
Again?
Yes, she gets married.
Like, wait, I saw her get married and divorced.
Yep. She is married to Brock, who is the father of her like adorable daughter Summer. Okay. And they have a really beautiful wedding in Mexico, where a bunch of Scandoval stuff also occurs.
Excellent.
So we get into that. But the thing to know for Sheena is that like she's been best friends with Ariana since before the show. Like they are Thelma and Louise. She will follow her to the ends of the earth. They follow each other, ride or die. Like we're going over this cliff together. And she's also known Tom for even longer than she's known Ariana. I think she says on the show, like been friends for like 14 years. And he's her best friend's partner. And so she is very close with both of them. And so this whole thing has like been very intense for her. She also is very close with Raquel. Sheena, I think, has this sort of thing, and I've seen it over the years, of like sort of always feeling bad for and rooting for like the underdog, or like the person that people are sort of like ganging up on and attacking.
Okay.
And I think it's because, and she sort of talks about this a little bit too, because she kind of felt like that happened to her when she was on the show when she first came in, because she wasn't really friends like everybody else was. So I think when she saw people sort of coming after Raquel and accusing her of certain things this season, before things were like known, she was kind of like vouching for her and protecting her and everything like that.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah. And Ariana too. So like that's the other thing, is that Ariana is very much like very good friends, best friends with Raquel as well. Okay. So the three of them were very close.
All right.
Together. And then there's Lala, who we mentioned already. She's recently single. I think there's a new like docuseries out about Randall Emmett on Hulu.
Yeah.
And who's her ex, who was like cheating on her, and now he's being accused of like these casting couch hookup things, like getting people to like do sexual favors for being in movies and like all this crazy stuff. So
I saw an ad for that, so that's what that is about. Because I was like, who is this guy? Okay.
Who is this Randall Emmett guy?
Yeah. Yeah. She has a daughter with him, and they were like getting married. Like I remember seeing pictures of her like in her wedding, like doing wedding dress fitting things and like all that kind of stuff. And then there were pictures of him in, I think, Nashville with like another woman, and it just like all came crumbling down, and it's just like wild. And she's also Team Ariana as well. She hates Raquel. Like she's always had Raquel's number. Like she feels very vindicated right now because she's like, I've never liked this person.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay. All right.
And she's very close with James, very close with Sheena, and very close with Katie. She's also never liked, I don't think, either Tom, but she definitely never liked Sandoval. So I think she just is like, I always knew that you guys were worms.
Okay. All right.
So that is there's other like side people or whatever, but that's like the main cast, right?
That's what we need to know.
Yeah. So I was telling Alex, I was like, I have to figure out like the best way to sort of like describe like what has happened this season. And I feel like one thing to start with is like just the timeline of how filming occurred and like when the show aired, because I think that's part of also why this is blown up so much, is because we thought we were getting one thing, including like the cast, and then it turned into something completely different not even halfway through. So the season was filmed July 22nd through August 22nd. Okay, so it ends in August. And then they go on the hiatus, they do the editing, whatever, they come up with the season, and it starts showing in February, end of February through May.
Okay.
So the first incident that we know of that happened between Raquel and Tom Sandoval happened in August.
Okay.
Then
so that's during filming.
Okay. So they're claiming that there's only one hookup that happened during filming, and it was in August. They're already calling bullshit on this. They think there's definitely more than one hookup that happened during August, but he's claiming, at least in the last, in the reunion as well, he's like, we hooked up one time, then there was like a break, and then we started again in September after they went to this Life is Beautiful festival with a bunch of people, including Ariana. Ariana was there.
Well, that's ballsy.
And yeah. Just wait until you see how big this guy's balls are. So,
or little.
This is true. The way, however you want to describe that. Yes. So then they pick up in September, and then for all intents and purposes, they are hooking up until March 1st when the incident occurs and everything is like brought to light. Yes.
Is that when the cell phone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so again, like no one knows that this is going on, and that like it went on while filming was going on. It went on when filming was not happening, and it was going on when the season was airing until March 1st. So that's just like just wild in general.
Yeah.
We'll get into how long,
that's like a long ass relationship for these people.
Yeah. So we'll get into like how long Schwartz like knew and stuff like that, because he did for sure. But basically the first four, like what I kind of tease is like the first like 4 episodes, basically we're talking about Katie and Tom's divorce and separation, and Raquel like being like, oh, I kind of think Tom is cute, and oh, I kind of want to like make out with Tom, and like people like Sheena sort of like encouraging that because she's friends with Raquel and she doesn't really like Katie right now, and she's like, you should totally like do that, you guys are both single and like whatever. And 2 things sort of happen. So that episode ends on March 1st, and as a lot of people know, Watch What Happens Live is a show that Andy Cohen hosts right after, you see it after Below Deck, that you guys watch too.
Right.
So Sheena and Raquel are on Watch What Happens Live that night. On the West Coast, Tom Sandoval and his 50-piece band are playing at one of his restaurants that he owns with the other Tom and Lisa Vanderpump, called Tom Tom. Ariana's there, and actually Kristen, former whatever, because Kristen and Ariana are like friends now. They've gotten over all that whatever drama from years ago. So long story short, Tom is performing. His cell phone falls out of his pocket while he's performing. A friend grabs it, hands it to Ariana, like, give your, girlfriend the phone to hold. The set wraps up, whatever. She like kind of goes to the back for whatever reason. She decides I need to look through his phone. Like she just gets some kind of inkling, like whatever she chooses, decides that I need to look through this guy's phone. She goes to the bathroom and she sees a screen recording of a FaceTime between him and Rachel from the night before that actually was taken at Schwartz's house, at his apartment. And they won't get into the details of this. Yeah. So the two Toms, thick as thieves, backing up each other all the time. So they won't really say exactly what's on this film because I don't think Rachel knew that she was being filmed, being screen recorded, but obviously it's something explicit and something that is enough for Ariana to know that like, something is happening here.
This is not an innocent striptease happening here.
Right. Yeah. Right. So she leaves the bathroom, gets Tom, they go outside. She like confronts him. He's freaking out because he doesn't want anyone to hear. Like he doesn't want anyone to know.
Wait, can we just stop for 1 second and just talk about the douchebaggery that is him screen recording that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, without her consent, obviously, we are very anti any of that shenanigans, any of that tomfoolery. Like,
what
a dick move.
Yeah. Like, it's so messed up. It's. I mean, he this just scratches the surface of like what kind of person he is. Like, I can't even tell.
He makes me scratch.
So
all right, anyway, continue, please.
So he takes Ariana's phone so she can't text anyone or whatever, and they get an Uber, and in the Uber, I guess she gets her phone back and she calls Raquel, and is like, if you have ever thought of me as a friend ever, like you will tell me right now what's going on. And so she's like, yeah, we've been sleeping together. She cops to it right away. So meanwhile, they finished Watch What Happens Live, Sheena and Raquel. They're at a bar somewhere, I guess, in New York. And Sheena's like watching her like pace around on the phone, like then she's like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening?
I love that these are simultaneously occurring. Like the fact that like, West Coast is East Coast, totally different events, but they're related. It's like this butterfly effect shit is real.
Yeah.
You know? I just love
100%.
it.
Yeah. Okay. So, basically, so
they're at the bar.
Yeah. So at the bar. And so basically, I guess Raquel just like straight up just turns to Sheena, just deadpan is just like, Tom and I have been having an affair for 7 months and Ariana just found out. Just like no emotion, just like
psychopath.
Just straight up, just says that.
She said psychopath.
And Sheena's like, what? And so this next part is also like, whatever. Rachel accuses Sheena, like she's saying that Sheena punched her after that incident.
Why would Sheena punch her after that incident? That doesn't make any sense.
I guess because she's like her friend, like whatever. She like attacked her, like Sheena attacked me and punched me in the face when I told her. She actually filed a restraining order against her, which is why Sheena and Raquel can't be in the same room during the filming of the reunion. They have to be 100 yards apart.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sheena does say she like shoved her like away from her, so she did put her hands on her or whatever. That's been squashed, I guess. But yeah. So and so Sheena's on the phone with Ariana now in the car. Tom then calls Raquel. So like the four of them are on like a group call with two different cell phones apparently. And they're like yelling and like, blah, 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 like all this crazy stuff. And Tom's like mad at Ariana and at Sheena and just like, just deflecting.
Yeah. He was like, why is he mad at Ariana?
Right.
For looking through his phone?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Right. Why did you look through my phone? Like if you hadn't looked at my phone, you wouldn't have found it. Right. Like, that's one of the things he says. He's like, that's usually something I would have deleted.
That's usually these men, I swear to God.
Oh my God, mediocre white man right there.
Just like, what?
Y'all want to know mediocre white man.
Oh my God. So that's basically that night, right? So like I remember watching that episode and like going to bed. Like I honestly don't even sometimes watch the episodes when they happen because I'm like got my baby. So I'm just like sleep deprived. But I remember waking up in the middle of the night, like scrolling through my phone, like scrolling through Twitter, like whatever, and like seeing random things like Sheena and Raquel get into like a altercation in New York. I'm like, that's bizarre. Like they're really good friends. Like that can't be right. Like that's whatever. So then all of this stuff starts rolling out from that moment, right?
Okay.
So we're only 4 episodes into the season, and there's like 11 episodes left of like a recorded season that was not about this affair that was going on. And so we're like, holy
what are
shit.
they gonna do?
Yeah. And so you're watching the rest of the season, like looking for like the moment that it started, like the first time that they hooked up, and like all of the stuff. And you're just like, oh, is that like, oh, I saw him look at her like this. I'm like, oh, I saw that, you know. And then as the season goes on, it becomes very apparent.
Well, they probably, do you think they probably went back and recut some of those scenes?
So they claim that they didn't. So I don't know. They did. I mean, the last episode of the season is a whole new episode because they like brought back cameras in March to like film the aftermath.
I saw that commercial.
Yeah.
And then this happened.
Yeah.
So we brought the cameras back.
So I mean, they may have, but they claim that they didn't. So
fair enough. But
yeah.
Okay.
But so now we're thinking about like when it happened, right? So this is episode 4. So like just a couple episodes later, like this is when all the timelines sort of align. Again, you don't see any of it happen on the show, like any of the cheating actually happen on the show because they were doing it so behind the scenes or whatever. But essentially what happens is Katie's on the show plans a girls trip, like a divorce trip to Las Vegas. All the girls go except for Sheena, because her and Sheena are on the outs, so Sheena's not invited. And Sheena subsequently plans like a guys' night for Schwartz in, back home.
Sake. Of course she fucking did.
Right. So they're there. Ariana gets a call. Tom is home. Obviously, Ariana gets a call that her dog Charlotte is going to pass away. Like they need to put her down. She's very, very old. She's been with Ariana though forever. Like this dog meant a lot to her, and she's very, very upset. So she goes home and says goodbye to Charlotte and everything. The rest of the girls stay. They, this is a time like Katie really goes in on Raquel about the whole coming after Schwartz and wanting to hook up with her soon to be ex-husband, whatever kind of thing. And so Raquel's like, I'm out of here. Like, I don't like any of you guys. Like, bye, whatever. I'm out. So she leaves. So while the rest of the girls like are still on their trip, whatever, Ariana or Sheena and Raquel show up at the guys' night. And
of course they fucking do.
From what I guess Tom has now said is like there was like a spark that sort of occurred between them there or something like that. A few days later, they are spotted by Allie, who is James's new girlfriend, at a bar called the Abbey, alone, together, just dancing together, whatever. What she
I remember
witnesses,
seeing this making the rounds on Instagram. Yeah.
So what she sees, she describes to James like something that she did not feel like was appropriate, like what she was witnessing them doing. That is that incident is brought up to Ariana, and she's like, oh, I don't think that's weird. Like, we're friends. Like, it's not weird that they were out at the Abbey together until whatever in the morning and alone and like all this stuff. Like, she just didn't think, she was like, it's my best friend and my life partner. Like, they're not, gonna be doing anything like weird. Come to find out, that night was actually the first night that they hooked up. And they hooked up in her car in front of him and Ariana's house, had sex, and then he did not have his keys to get in the house, so he had to wake up Ariana to come and let him in the house.
Wow.
He had no, like, she has no idea. She just comes down and lets him in. Like, he doesn't have his keys. Little did she know that he just fucked her best friend in the front yard.
I wonder if he took a shower, or if he just like went to bed. These are the things that I think of. I don't know.
I know, right?
So gross.
What a douche.
It's so
I hate
gross.
him. I don't even know him. I hate him.
Oh my God, it gets even
You
worse.
banned.
It gets even worse. Yeah.
Carry yourself with the confidence of a Tom Sandoval.
Yes, actually, yes, that's what it should be. Oh my God. And then so it's like Raquel like is, you know, this whole season I think was like Raquel sort of exploring her singlehood, and she's like dabbling in like the people like, you know, the Schwartz, and like, don't, you know, this guy's like still going through a divorce, like whatever, they said not to hook up in the friend group, like why are you teasing him and taunting him and all this kind of stuff. And then these like incidents with Tom start to happen, right? And this is now all after we know that they've been having an affair for this long, right? But it's just so funny because it's almost like you wish you could have watched it without knowing and see if you actually did, you know, believe what they, because towards the end of the season, people are like, something was going on with Tom Sandoval and Raquel. Like, this is like, their relationship is weird. And they're trying to tell Ariana this, and she's just like, no, it's not weird, right? Like, it's
denial,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like, you know, I think she was like, you guys are just picking on her because of the Schwartz thing. So like, you know, just like leave her alone. Like, she's fine. Like, she's not doing anything bad, whatever. But there's like other incidents then between the two of them. There's like this incident where she is an hour and a half late to work. So she's one of the only people that actually still works at SUR. Most of these people do not even work at Lisa's restaurant anymore.
Right.
There's only like
I would like to
them.
think that they've moved on at some point, but
yeah. So she like rolls in like an hour and a half late, and Lisa Vanderpump's like, where have you been? And she's just like, oh, the Toms and I went out last night. We went back to Tom's place, got in the hot tub, and like I passed out on the sofa. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, blah blah blah. And Lisa's like, what? This is weird. And so she calls the Tom. She like FaceTimes both Tom, like they're together, of course, like in the car. And she's like, why is Raquel rolling up to work an hour and a half late? And
after
saying
hanging out with you two.
Right. Worst part is that when this is all happening, Ariana is in Florida because her grandmother passed away. She's not here. She is in Florida with her family, and Tom is inviting Raquel over. She's saying she slept on the sofa. Tom's like,
oh, bull fucking shit.
Tom's like, oh yeah, like we came back, went in the hot tub, and then this is like a joke people might have been hearing, but like she dipped out. They keep saying like, oh, she dipped out. She wasn't like, and so Lisa's like, what do you mean dipped out? Like, what does that mean? Like in her like, you know, English accent. She's like, what does that even mean? Dipped out mean? And he's like, she left. And she's like, you mean like she didn't stay the night? Because she told me she stayed the night. And he's like, well, no, she did. She stayed in my guest room. So they didn't have their story straight either. So there's that. There's a whole incident about a Labor Day party around the same time that Ariana's grandma died. Like, she's calling like Tom being like, can you please come back? Like, I'm very upset. Like, I want you to be with me, and like all this kind of stuff. And he's claiming that his ride left him and didn't tell him, and he can't get an Uber. Lala's at this party and basically witnesses him like being told, like the guy that was his ride coming up to him and being like, hey, like I'm gonna head out soon and whatever and all this stuff. And Tom's like, oh, I'm gonna stay. And it's because Raquel's there.
Of course it is.
So and he's the whole time he's also encouraging Schwartz to like make out with Raquel too. Like after he's had sex with her, he is like, yeah, you know, don't listen to Katie. She's like, whatever, like she can't tell you what to do, blah, blah, blah. So they like make out at Sheena's wedding after Sandoval had sex with her.
Tom?
Raquel and Schwartz make out. Yeah.
It sounds like they need to just have a threesome or something. I think that the two Toms might be interested in each other. I don't know these guys, but from what it sounds like,
I'm thinking there was a sword fight in that hot tub.
Right?
Maybe.
I think all three of them were naked in the hot tub doing a thing together.
I mean, it could have happened. Easily could. I have no idea. But so like that's just like the wild thing.
They're saying if it were me, if I were Raquel in that situation,
you'd run because it's ew, Tom.
Right.
He's so ugly. I don't know about the other Tom. I don't know what the other Tom looks like, but
I don't know. Back in my early 20s, maybe I would have not thought twice about something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I never. Sandoval
Stories for
gave
the
me
memoir that's after my parents are no longer with us. Okay.
I mean, Sandoval gave me like kind of like weird vibes. I don't know. And like Schwartz is just is like this, he like gives off this like, oh, I'm just like a little puppy dog. I don't know what I'm doing, kind of like innocent sort of thing. And
but he is
like,
dumb. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right. But then I also think, but he also has these moments though, like, but like he'll cover for Sandoval for, I mean, this whole thing is a big example because he knew, so he finally admitted what the timeline was of him knowing about this whole thing during this reunion episode. So Sheena's wedding was like end of August. So he didn't know, like when he kissed Raquel, when Schwartz kissed Raquel at the wedding, he didn't know that Schwartz or that Sandoval had sex with her.
Okay.
He found out, he says literally August 31st is the day that he found out. He like went back through his text messages, I guess, to like find a date. But people were like coming for him too, like with all of this, because they know how close they are. And there's no way this guy did not know what was happening.
For sure. 100%.
Right.
100%.
So, you know, and it's just then, so then filming ends at the end of August, basically, like right around like whatever that time frame. And then they're apparently the Life is Beautiful festival that I mentioned. This is after filming was wrapped, all that kind of stuff. They, you know, go and they hook up there. The two Toms went on like a bro trip to Big Bear, apparently.
Bro trip.
Right. But Rachel was there.
Brokeback Mountain. Sorry.
Raquel.
But you said Raquel was there, so was the
so they said that it was just them two going up and going snowboarding or whatever, and
there was
Raquel was
snowboarding.
Yep. And the whole, and then again, like the whole video that was like that Ariana found was filmed at Schwartz's house.
Okay, so wait, the boys are in Big Bear, and she goes up there too.
Yeah,
okay,
she met them up there.
Okay, when was that time frame in? That was in.
I'm not sure when it. I'm not sure if it was
or like
December or January. I'm not. Yeah,
okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it was definitely like when filming was over.
Okay.
And so there's like a whole bunch of really effed up stuff on top of all of this that like makes it even worse. So like that whole timeline shit, like all of that stuff makes this whole thing bad. But like the whole, we're gonna freeze embryos together. Like this is how
that was happening at that time.
So yeah. So basically, when the episode where Ariana is in Florida, like with her family, like she is unable to go to the appointment to get the results of his like sperm analysis because she's in Florida. So Tom goes with him. So the two Toms are in the he's getting his report on his sperm because like she wanted him to get it evaluated before they tried to use it for eggs. Mm-hmm. So like it is very much like in progress, right? They're taking the steps to do it.
Right.
Like him and Raquel buy these like matching like lightning bolt necklaces. You guys probably, I don't know, I've seen about this whole thing.
Instagram. Yeah.
But he had like a lightning bolt necklace and she went and bought one. You see her buy it on the show, but you don't know that's like, you know,
later,
at the time. Yeah. You're like, you weren't supposed to know like that's what it was for and all this kind of stuff. They like, and I think the other thing too is like Ariana just like defending Tom and Raquel like all season against like everybody else, just like straight up like this is not something like Lala and Katie are like, this seems kind of weird, like he definitely could have left the Labor Day party, like, and she's like, no, like I trust them, like whatever, it's not what it seems. Sheena was the same way. She was like, you guys are just like, you don't like her, that's why you guys are doing this, like this is not like a big deal or whatever.
All right.
And when everything comes to a head and they finally have it out like on camera, like about the affair and everything, the level of gaslighting this man, I mean, it's crazy.
Triggering.
So basically he's like saying like, well, we didn't spend time together and like I lost my mojo and like we weren't having sex and I wanted to go out and party and like you wanted to be home and it's like, okay, all of those things are like maybe valid reasons for like maybe not being in a relationship with somebody, but like not having sex with their best friend.
Yeah. And trying to get pregnant through other means. Like that's crazy. Right. That's absolutely crazy. At 40 years old, 40. Right. We're not talking about like somebody that's 20.
Right. Yeah. At one point during the season, they're talking about quality time. Like, this is before they find out about the cheating scandal. Like, they're just like talking about acknowledging like they need to spend more time together. And, you know, Aaron is like, well, we used to like make dinner together and listen to music and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, yeah, but like, so they like asked Tom, like, what does quality time mean to you? And he's like, again, he's like 40-year-old. He's like, oh yeah, like taking shrooms and like going down and watching the sunrise, or like, you know, skinny dipping in the and like going skydiving, or like whatever.
You're a fucking 40-year-old frat boy. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
This man should not have a child. Can we just say that right now? Like,
No.
let me just go do some shrooms and then be a mom. Like, I don't know. Let me see how that works out. Like, CPS gets called. I know that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
No, that's
Ariana never like has also said like she's never been really sure if she wanted to have kids. So the only reason she froze her eggs was in case like to like do it for him, basically, because he was the one that wanted them.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Because you wanted somebody more immature than him around to make him look like, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. The last things I'll say sort of too that have like come out after, I don't know if they'll get into it in these last 2 episodes of the reunion. Like apparently there's some like big bomb that's going to drop on everybody that like nobody knows except for like whoever says it, basically. Like none of the other cast is aware of what's going to happen, but Ariana has said that the cheating, like them having sex, Raquel and Tom Sandoval, actually happened while Ariana was in the house as well.
Oh my God.
Like they were over, like, you know, hanging out, whatever, late night, everything. Ariana and Tom are asleep in bed, and like he would wake up and go down to the guest room and like have sex with her.
No.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's so slimy. That's disgusting.
And then apparently during the Toms were on Watch What Happens Live together in February. So again, before March 1st, before everyone knew. And Tom Schwartz was acting like very weird. Like he's not a good interviewer. Like he's not good on TV, like interviewing anyway, but like he was very weird, like and jittery the whole time. Come to find out,
he knew what was going on.
Well,
but they were pretending like
he knew because Raquel was in the hotel room in New York.
In the other Sandoval?
In their hotel room. Yeah, in Sandoval.
Their hotel room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God, they were so all 3 of them banging.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And instead of having lightning bolt necklaces, they should have like the best friend necklaces where there's the 3 parts. You know, like there's the 3 part. Yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Oh, that's amazing.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but then we're going to come back and I'm going to ask you some other questions that I have.
Oh my God, you guys, I want to tell you about this underwear that I'm obsessed with. It is the Fits Everybody collection by Skims. And it feels like no other underwear I've ever worn before. It's stretchy and soft, and it kind of just melts onto your body and you forget you're wearing it. Skims is creating the next generation of underwear for everybody. And I do mean everybody. My girls are a 34 double D. I've breastfed. I've had a reduction. I've gained weight. I've lost weight. I've been through it all. And this is my new favorite bra that I wear all the time. It is the Fits Everybody t-shirt bra. And I'm telling you, it's a miracle. A t-shirt bra I can actually wear. I love it. It's my favorite. I'm also a super fan of the Fits Everybody Racerback bra. It's my new go-to bra when working from home. The Fits Everybody collection of underwear is super lightweight and molds to your body. It's a buttery soft fabric that stretches twice its size without ever losing its shape, meaning that you get the perfect fit every time. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. You will get the perfect fit every time with these. And they're available in sizes double extra small up to a 4X. You guys, believe the hype. The collection has nearly 90,000 5-star reviews for a reason. The Fits Everybody collection and more perfect fit essentials are available now at skims.com. Plus, you get free shipping on orders over $75. After you place your order, be sure to let them know that we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select the Fraudcast from the drop-down menu that follows.
Hey, you guys. You know that I love my Nutrafol. I've been taking it for a long time, and I'm going to continue to take it for a long time because I, like millions of Americans, experience thinning hair. It's more than common. It's normal, but it's not openly talked about, especially among women. Going through it can be lonely and frustrating, and it's time to change that conversation and join the thousands of women like me who are standing up for their strands with Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting the 5 root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, and metabolism through a whole body health. Nutrafol has 3 unique formulas to support women throughout all stages of life, including postpartum and menopause. Each formula is physician formulated using natural, drug-free, medical-grade ingredients in consistently effective dosages so you get the most reliable results. In a clinical study, 86% of women reported improved hair growth after 6 months. Over 3,000 top doctors and stylists recommend Nutrafol as an effective and high-quality solution for healthier hair. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code FRAUD to save $10 off your first month subscription. This offer is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, you get free shipping on every order. Get $10 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, with the promo code FRAUD. And we're back.
Weekends are short, and long weekends somehow feel even shorter. So why spend a moment of this one on a drink run? Instead, get drinks delivered right to your door with Drizzly. Drizzly is the easiest way to find the best prices on beer, wine, and spirits, so you can get back to lighting those totally legal fireworks, or making sure your uncle is flipping those burgers at the right time, or neglecting to put on sunscreen so you can, quote, get a base. In any case, get drinks with Drizzly to make sure you enjoy every second of your long weekend doing long weekend things. Because let's face it, it'll practically be over before this ad is. Download the app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today. Must be 21 or over and not available in all locations.
Growing a business brings pressure. Staying compliant and retaining top talent in challenging times. You feel stretched thin. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put over 35 years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Engaged people empowered to be their best means overcoming obstacles. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
The Louisiana Swamplands. Out here, you're either lunch or you're enjoying it. Make sure you end up on top with the all-powerful lineup of Kia SUVs, like the Telluride, Sportage, and Sorrento, equipped with available all-wheel drive, higher ground clearance, and the interior capacity to bring everything you need, so you'll always remain more than a gator's length ahead. Visit your local Kia dealer today to find your next adventure in our ever-capable lineup of SUVs. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-3334-KIA for details. Always drive safely.
Okay. So I guess a couple weeks ago is when they aired that they started filming again stuff, because that's what I saw, like the internet go crazy about stuff. And like, you know, a friend of mine, Chelsea, I'm talking to you, posted on her Facebook, good morning to everyone except Tom Sandoval. And it proceeded, it was the greatest comments after it and stuff, but that was like the gist of the internet, right?
Yeah.
So that's the episode where we find out about her being in the same house and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that was like.
So when people started posting and everything blew up, it was because of the March 1st incident, because that got out immediately to the press. It was on, like I said, I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw random rumblings about it on Twitter, and I was like, Sheena punched Raquel, like that doesn't make any sense, because they're like really close friends. And it was quickly after that things slowly started to roll out. No, it's because Tom actually cheated on Ariana, and then they're like, why did they punch Raquel? And it's like, because it was Raquel. And it was like, oh my god. So it was literally like very fast. Like by the next day it was everywhere, and then all these other little details that I've been telling you about have just been slowly coming out since March 1st, basically.
Drip.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we've had so the reunion is a 3-parter. We've had part 1 has aired. Apparently the unedited version is on Discovery Plus or Max or whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, I think I watched it on Peacock.
Peacock. I'm sorry. I forgot. Totally separate network. Sorry.
Wrong network.
Peacock. Sorry. I mean,
TLC is ingrained in us. We can't get away from it.
Yeah.
I know, right? But no, I meant Peacock. Sorry, I've been binging Succession on Max, so I've been stuck over on HBO Max. So that's why. That's why that was floating around. But no, okay. So over on Peacock, you can watch the first part unedited. Personally, I'm waiting until all 3 come out, and then I want to watch them all together, and having it all, explained in the meantime. So, what happened at the first part? Can you talk us through that?
Yeah. So, I mean, right out the gate, like, I think Andy Khan's like, Tom is like, Sandoval, is there anything you'd like to say to Ariana or the group? And he like immediately starts like these trying to like cry, like, and just like starting to like thank them all for being so good to Ariana during this time. And like James Kennedy's just like, no, he was like, do not do that. You like lock it up. Like you are not like crying right now and everything. And him and Lala, just basically the entire episode are just like on fire. They are like at his throat the entire time. I mean, they all are, but the 2 of them are just like, no, we're like not having this like redemption story of Tom Sandoval here.
Yeah, no, we're
no. I mean, for the most part, it's, so like I mentioned, so Sheena at the time she has a restraining order against her from Raquel from that incident in New York when they all found out. So Raquel is in like a trailer 100 yards away. Like, so they keep flashing to her and she's like watching on a television screen. And I saw a meme today that was her watching, like the camera on her watching the television, and then a picture of a television, and it was Paw Patrol that was on the screen. I was like, this is great. So right now we have Sheena with the group, and then I think they're going to swap at some point, and then Raquel will come in, which I think will be even wilder, obviously. But the episode starts with 3. Well, they only showed 2, but Andy did 3 one-on-one interviews. One with Ariana, one with Tom Sandoval, and one with Raquel. And they showed a few small clips of that before they got into the group, but they only showed Tom Sandoval and Ariana. I think they're like waiting for Raquel, and when she like maybe shows up with the group, they're going to show whatever they talked about. One major thing that comes out is, like I mentioned, Tom Schwartz finally admitting to like the timeline and being like, this is when I knew. I think he's really sick of people attacking him, and that was like the last episode of the season. He was like telling everyone how like he's being villainized, like, vilified for like everything in his role. Right. Yeah. It's like, dude, you knew, you know what I mean? Yeah. And he's like, well, he told me he was going to end it, or the first time it happened, he told me it was just like a drunk mistake. And it's like, okay, come on. You went to Big Bear. Like, what are you talking about?
No, yeah, like, no.
No. So anyways, but he finally does lay out the timeline. And what's funny is like, he says August 31st, and he's sitting next to Sandoval, and Sandoval's like, what do you mean August? Like, August? And he's like, yeah, you told me August 31st. And they flashed the interview with Andy and Sandoval, and Andy asked, like, when did Tom Schwartz find out? And he says January. So they're like, oh, you guys all clearly didn't like get your story straight before you came on here. But it was probably the first time I've ever seen, like, I mean, not the first time, but like Schwartz actually being like, not, man, you're on your own on this one. Like, I'm getting out of this. Like, I am not like, I don't want to be part of that anymore. So there's that. I mean, there's definitely a lot of, diving into like the ins and outs of like where Tom and Ariana's relationship was. And like I said, like they definitely seemed like they were in sort of different places, but they were like going through therapy together, like in January. And according to many folks in January, they actually were doing pretty well. it gets mentioned that they're having sex again, like in January, I guess more regularly, and it flashes to Raquel's face. And I guess apparently Raquel was not aware that like that was happening because she's like was like, what?
I'm sure he was telling her we're still not having sex.
Yeah.
Right.
It's only you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then there's like some other, they try to like, I think, touch on a little bit of some of the other stories that were going on before this whole thing like kind of blew up, like Tom and Katie, and like going through their divorce. And, like, all that
the
kind
rest
of
the
stuff,
cast.
right? Yeah, exactly. Like, so what happened in your life? It's like, I think he's like, oh, Sheena, congratulations on your marriage, like on your wedding.
Oh, yeah, you got married.
You got married.
Back to Raquel in the trailer.
Right, but then it's quickly like, oh, and like Tom, you made out.
That's
Yeah,
so
like Tom, you made out with Raquel at Sheena's wedding, like after your buddy had sex with her. Like, let's talk about that. So.
Well, no, because now it all makes sense. Because they're all having a threesome together, so them making out is no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I have not heard that.
I cannot be the only person that came up with it.
I'm 100% on. I think you're right. Or just like a polyamorous type of like,
situation.
Right. I don't think relationships. I don't even know what you would
the nature of it. But there's some tonsil honky going on with some dicks there.
Right. And obviously Sandoval doesn't care that he's sharing her because he's encouraging it. So
right.
That's like on a whole nother.
Yeah. Well, and everyone's like, that was like the smoke screen, like look over there. Like that's what Katie sort of alludes to. She's like, you guys were doing that because it was like, look at them, not at me. Like no one will find out that I'm doing what I'm doing with her because they all think it's Schwartz. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that could have easily been part of this whole thing as well. And like, yeah, and there's like James Kennedy almost gets into like an actual fist fight with Tom Sandoval, which would have been hilarious. The two of them going at it. Just like trying to picture them in like if you've ever seen like two pictures of them, it'd be like very interesting.
Can we stop on
what
James
I've seen? Sandoval can't fight. I already know. He looks like he can't take it. He looks like somebody that would like get slapped and be like, I'm suing. Like not even like trying to like fight back. Like,
wait, imitate him again.
I'm suing. I don't even know what he sounds like. I have no idea.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And the famous like worm with a mustache is said during that fight. So that's like that's what everyone's calling him, a worm with a mustache, because James calls him that on the reunion. So
you said James was like everybody's fan favorite after this season. So is it because he almost got in a fist fight, or is there more behind it, or tell me why?
Probably.
Tell me why. Okay, sorry.
I mean, so I think he's fresh off of this, he is in a new relationship, obviously. He's like pretty much, he's sort of moved on, but like, he's definitely getting affected by like watching Schwartz, someone he thought he was friends with, like entertain hooking up with his ex-fiance. And Schwartz makes some kind of like digs at him during the season too. I allude to like James, like getting into it a couple of times in the season. Like he throws a drink in, Schwartz's face at one point, because he like makes some reference to the engagement to Raquel or whatever. And it's just like in poor taste, you know what I mean? And so I think everyone just kind of feels like a little like sorry for him in that sense. And then also his relationship with Sandoval too. I mean, like again, like this guy paid for the engagement, like whatever, this elaborate engagement during the reunion. James is like confronting Sandoval about it, and Sandoval's like, what are you even talking about? We're not even friends. And he's like, what do you mean we're not friends? He's like, you're like my brother. And he's like, that's what you would call me. Alluded, like saying like, well, you thought we were close. Like you thought I was like a brother to you, but I never thought about that about you. We were never friends. Like totally like now gaslighting James. Like, yeah. Like
these people are toxic.
To be hurtful to him. Like there's no, you know what I mean?
Now, can you clarify real quick why her name is Raquel / Rachel?
And why that's funny, and then you have to get into David Spade also.
Oh my God, David Spade. So Raquel is how like everyone's known her on the show. Basically, like when she was introduced, her name was like, it was like, this is Raquel. Like, and so that's what everyone called her. So, but apparently her actual name is
exotic.
Right. And she's like, I don't know if people know, she's like a pageant like girl, like the queen. Like that was like her thing, like that she was in pageants. She never won. She never like, I don't even think really placed according to what everyone's saying. But that was like her.
Boo-boo.
That was her thing. And now she's aged out and she can't be a pageant queen anymore. And so now maybe that's why she's running around having sex with everybody's significant others. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. It's like a non-midlife crisis. But her real name is Rachel. And it's funny because I don't know if anyone's brought this up yet, but part of one of the episodes, Schwartz gets into it with Lala over something, and Lala's not her real name. Her real name is Lauren, but her friends call her Lala, so that's why she goes by Lala.
Which makes sense, yeah.
And you know, I get Schwartz is like being really mean to her, like being like, everything's fake about you, your lips, like blah blah blah, all this stuff. Tom Sandoval comes over, obviously, of course, and he's like, you know, they're going back and forth talking shit about her and everything. They're like, well, Lala's not even her real name, so that should tell you something. And so it's like funny because like, no, you're hooking up with somebody that's not using their real name either. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what does that have anything to do with anything?
And Lala,
so everyone,
like, Lauren Lala, like that makes sense. Right.
I can see that is like a whole like rebrand.
Yeah.
Basically.
Rachel to Raquel. I mean,
what would you guys rebrand yourself as? Like, I go by Lexi, but if I were to do something like really crazy, what would I be? I'd probably be Alexandra, but with like an ALEXSINDRRAA, something crazy.
You're gonna have to like the triple X.
Yeah, you gotta like really change it or something. I don't even know.
That's amazing. I don't know. I never really thought about it.
I think I'd go more Russian with mine. Like I'd go like a Katarina or something.
Yeah. You know? Oh, that would be good instead of Katarina.
A Katarina, yeah.
Kristen, what would you be?
I don't know. I've often thought about like what my Real Housewives like intro would be. You know how they're like,
what would it be?
They have like, oh God. See, now I'm on the spot. Now I have to think about it.
I know. Like, now I'm like, what would like? I'm like, shit. I asked the question. I don't have an answer to that. I have to answer
it. I'm trying to think for you, Kristen.
Just let me know. Let me know what my
Lex, yours would have to be like the doctor will serve you now or see you now.
Oh, there you go.
You know.
The glove just like snapping it.
The little needle.
There you go. I'm thinking of like the Blink one. I hate Blink 182. I hate them, but like the one album cover with like the tattooed
I feel like mine would have to be something like I don't know, like I like, you know, justice and revenge served or something.
You need one of those like, you know, I'm Russian. You need one of those hats. Like the Russian with like a coat with nothing underneath, just like the fur coat and the hat.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
I don't know how we digress. I'm sorry. I just got excited. Raquel.
Sorry. Yeah.
Raquel, Rachel. Yeah. So everyone's taking to calling her Rachel basically post.
Okay. So talk to me, David Spade. How did he get involved?
It's hilarious how many celebrities are suddenly like in on all of this. I actually just saw a clip of like Whoopi Goldberg like from like on The View like asking J-Lo if she watches Vanderpump Rules. It's like this is where we've gone. Like
this is where we're at. Where we're at. And I
guess David Spade caught wind of everything. He just started watching it. And he just like records himself watching it on TikTok, like commentary, like of watching it on TikTok.
Nice.
It's hilarious.
So he records like himself watching Vanderpump Rules.
He like you see like you're watching like the TV screen and it's like Vanderpump, so you just hear him behind like just like making commentary basically.
That's how I've seen it because like I follow David Spade on Instagram and so I've seen his like little clips and I'm like, this is hilarious.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That is awesome.
It's awesome.
I saw a commercial for like I don't know Entertainment Tonight or something like that. And I didn't watch the show, so I don't know what it was about, but it said something about Ariana and the FBI is involved now.
Oh my God.
As of today, something happening today. Do you know anything what that means?
No.
Like Scandoval's taking a new level or something.
I haven't
She's
seen
like, I'm pulling it up right now. I'm doing
I know. I'm not the expert I thought I was going to be. It's the death threats to Raquel. Yeah. So her family is contacting the FBI because like people are sending them death threats. So she's like, so like right now, like there's like rumors she was like in a mental health facility. there's also rumors that she's just like home, or she's like living with her grandmother in Arizona. Like, so everyone, I'm not quite sure where she is. But her family, like there's a scene in the episode they shoot after filming wraps, and they came back and they show the fallout of Sandoval and Raquel in her apartment. And you know, she's like, he's like, your family hates me, don't they? And she's like, yeah, they hate you. And I saw something today that Sheena was saying that Raquel probably will not be back next season because her family is like refusing to like let her basically be back on the show.
I get it. I mean, totally, mental health.
Yeah, clearly. So, okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Death threats and
Yeah.
How the FBI would be involved in Scandoval, not directly, kind of.
Right. Yes.
So I saw a thing on the Instagram that was like a TikTok or something, because I'm, you know, old and I watch TikToks on Instagram a week after they were originally on TikTok. Like me. They should be viewed, because I'm deeply Gen X, where it was like somebody slowing down a scene and zooming in, and it's a scene, I guess, where it's Sandoval and then Raquel coming in, and they're having a conversation, and she reaches and grabs something from the counter and takes it during the conversation. And it was this thing about this big circle on it. It was like, see, and I was reading the comments and stuff, and people are like, it's just a cough drop wrapper, or no, it's cocaine, or like,
yeah,
what was it? And why did we care? Why does that scene matter?
Yeah. So it's not like, it doesn't really matter to like the whole storyline of what's going on, but there's just like an overall sort of like, I don't know if it's rumor is the right word, but there's like an understanding that like Coke has been like a major part of this show, and like people using Coke on the show.
You mean in
like
LA or California?
Yeah. Right.
They're all
in a restaurant business?
Good Lord.
No way.
But that they would use like code words to talk about it, like on camera, like so they wouldn't like they'd be like, someone needs like a tampon and stuff like that, and it would just like wouldn't hit right, or like a cigarette, like certain words. So there's like a famous scene too where people are claiming like Jack's on his wedding day, you can see like cocaine on the table. So I haven't actually slowed down and seen that the incident they're talking about with Rachel and Sandoval, but I did see that people were like, oh yeah, didn't you see like in their kitchen, and that it's the scene I was just talking about when they're talking about their families.
That's what made me think of it.
Yeah, and I guess like she grabs it to get it out of the camera. I will say there are rumors that after they filmed that interaction between the two of them, Sandoval like threw a fit and was like, I want to reshoot that, like it did not go well, it's not going to paint us in a good light, like all this kind of stuff, and production was like, no, we're going to reshoot it.
Well, yeah, okay, so because they were
yeah, it was
bagging Coke on the counter.
I mean, they said like, let's zoom in, we got to zoom in.
Yeah, well, and it's probably because that too, but yeah, I mean, because they like, so at one point Raquel during that scene also like thinks that Tom says I love you to her, so she says I love you back. And
awkward.
He was saying that his family loves her, so he said they love you like my family. This is like this very awkward thing. Like it's definitely. She's like, oh, okay, sorry.
Okay.
And there's this like really weird scene towards the end of their interaction where she openly admits that like she probably shouldn't trust him because he's like a cheater.
What?
She's like, you and my family are the only people I have, and I don't even know if I have.
He wanted her to make out with his best friend. I'm so confused.
Yeah, because they're all snorting lines out of Sandoval's dick.
Whatever dick he has.
Oh my god.
Goodness.
Yeah, so it is a very cringe. I mean, it's a cringe scene in general, I think, for a lot of people, because their like faces are close, like they don't kiss. But they're very he's like touching her face, and like their headboards are the foreheads are touching.
Their headboards.
That too.
That's an 8-week-old's mom right there. That's what that
right?
And you're just like, because you're like used to seeing him with Ariana, not this like random person. That, that's just, yeah. So that whole scene is cringe in general. That scene and him, oh my God. And there's a scene with him and Schwartz that's ridiculous as well. But yeah.
How many seasons has Raquel been on, like give or take?
So they've been together, her and James were together for 5 years. So it's got to be like 5 or 6. This maybe
okay,
her
so it's
sixth
been a
season,
while. It's been a while.
Yeah. But never again. Like, I mean, a lot of the back and forth was the drama was always really between her and Lala, because Lala and James were close and hooked up and everything. And that's where like the whole Bambi-eyed bitch sort of thing came in. People call her a Bambi-eyed bitch because that's something that Lala called her one time during a fight.
Oh my God.
So Lala has never liked Raquel. No, is that because of Rachel's relationship with James or other things, or
yeah, I think
was Lala just protective of James? Like what?
I think that's part of it, but also I think, Raquel also didn't like Lala because of the relationship that she had with James, and then them hooking up. And like this season, actually, before everything else like went to shit, Lala does admit to Raquel that her and James hooked up early on in James and Raquel's relationship, that they like had sex a couple of times or whatever. It was when Lala wasn't sober and she was like kind of all over the place and everything like that. But she like admits it to Raquel. So yeah, they just never, and like there's always just been something about Raquel. Like if you watch episodes with her and like seasons with her, like she does seem like this like deer in headlights sort of, like she just like you wonder like if anything's like going on upstairs, like you want to like just like wave your hand like in front of her face. Be like, are you like
a robot? Are you
right.
AI? Like
yeah, I don't know if it's like the pageant thing. I don't know what it is, but
I
it's
didn't
just
know
like
they met Scandoval.
I cannot wait to watch this show. See,
I know.
Kristen, I have to watch things from the beginning. So like right now I'm on the Below Deck, just like marathon. I've been banging out Below Deck. It's unhealthy actually how much of Below Deck I've been watching.
Below Deck is so good.
Yeah. So, but as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to start from the beginning because everyone keeps talking about this show and
the early seasons are honestly like so good. I can't say they're the best because I haven't seen the later seasons, right? But I loved those earlier seasons, and seeing it back on the marathon is making me want to go like, oh, okay. Because when I turned it on again, it was like post Randall, and I was like, oh, yeah. I missed all the stuff in between, so now I need to go back. It's going to be like with my Below Deck binge, Lexi.
Yeah.
It was like I saw part of it on the marathon, and then I was confused, and now I need to go back to the beginning and watch it all again.
Yeah. This is one of the things I love about watching the old seasons of Vanderpump is like the fashion, like the statement necklaces that are existing in this years. I mean, we all wore, like I wore them, whatever. They are top tier. They're like
before we let you go, and we're clearly going to have you back on when they finish the finale or the tell-all, because we need to have like a recap, like full on recap. But can we talk? So this reminded me, Stassi, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was doing her like apology tour, but like I forget what was it she did in that early season.
Yeah. So Stassi was one of the main characters or main cast members in the beginning.
She was trying to get everybody to stop being friends with Jax also.
Yeah. So her and Jax dated. Jax like cheated on her like on a regular basis. I think he got someone pregnant when he was cheating on her at one point.
Yeah, that was
something.
Somebody pregnant in Vegas or whatever.
I mean, Kristen was best friends with Stassi and had sex with Jax. Like that was another incident where like a best friend on the show hooked up with.
These people are the most toxic people.
Lexi, you're gonna love it.
Oh my God, it's wild.
God. And I watch 90 Day, so are you?
Yeah, no, you're gonna like. You like Below Deck and all their mess.
This is a whole other level. It's just wild.
Is a level unlike anything else I've ever seen.
And because I mean, yes, there have been new people that come to the show, but like they are friends in real. Like it's not like real world where you like get put into a house and you have to, you know what I mean? Yeah. Same thing with like Below Deck. A lot of them know each other now. They've been on seasons together before, but this is like they were actually friends in real life.
And the people that have come in on the show, like Brittany, was because Brittany saw him on TV and liked him and decided to like slide into his DMs, and now they're married with a kid. Like,
I just want to give a shout out to my friends because none of them have slept with my boyfriends or ex-boyfriends.
I know, right? Who knew?
They've been so supportive of me, and it makes you appreciate the true friends in your life.
I'm so glad you didn't sleep with my ex-husband, you know.
Are you sure I didn't? No kidding.
Right.
Yes. I know you're type.
It is wild. It is like, and that's what like I said in the beginning, like this show is literally all about their relationship. It's like the platonic ones and the romantic ones, and they have all screwed each other, screwed other people, everything. But just the level at which this has gone on for this couple specifically is just absolutely wild.
It sounds like they're both really narcissistic, and they actually kind of deserve each other, honestly.
The Toms.
The Tom or Raquel.
Tom Raquel.
Because I mean, they're so toxic that they could just feed off of each other, their negativity and their lies, and they're just gaslighting. And I mean, it could work out for them in the end. Not now because of all the heat going on, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the wild thing is like I don't think they're actually even together. After all of that, I think he has been spotted with like some other person apparently.
Of course he fucking has.
Right. He moved on. It was too much drama, too much to maintain and upkeep that relationship.
Yeah. So she's like, been sent off, she's hiding out with her parents somewhere, and he's touring the country, no apology, for that. And he's now been seen walking around with some other woman. So it's like, wow, that sums it up pretty well. What happens to women in these situations too.
I really wish we would have known in advance he was coming to DC, because I totally would have gone just to make fun of him and filmed him.
100%.
Just to make memes, meme gold.
We would have put it out on our Instagrams and stuff, right?
Yeah,
been like,
100%.
we are going to be here. Anyone in the DMV area that is near here, let's go pitchfork Scandoval. 100% would have done that. But we'll have to keep our eyes out in case he comes back.
Yeah. Oh God. With his 100-piece band.
It just keeps growing. It just keeps
growing and growing.
Just like look up Tom and the Most Extras for me. Just look it up.
You told me to do that. I did it, and I was laughing. I was like, this is not real. This is like, it's real. It's not real.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to make the spin-off of the Carry Yourself with the Confidence of a Mediocre White Man shirt that we have on our website that we currently have. I'm very excited to make a spin-off of that, of Carry Yourself with Confidence of Thompson.
Yes. Oh my God.
#Scandoval.
Yes.
Yeah. You should.
Team Mariana.
Yeah. Oh yes. Always.
All right. Well, definitely we will have to have you on again in a couple of days, weeks. Are they doing these back-to-back nights or?
I think it's the weeks. I think we'll have the second one next week and then the final third. Yeah. I mean, okay. I'm definitely happy to be back. I'm sure that there are things that I missed, horrible things that he's done that I missed. Details about people
next time then.
So I'll listen back. Anything I missed, I promise I'll address or whatever in the future. If anything comes out.
Best.
You are so the best. I'm so glad we got to have you on, and at the timing we did, it worked out. I'm so glad. I look forward to having you come back, and everyone else, stand by for more Scandoval, and we will talk to you later. Bye.
The Louisiana Swamplands. Out here, you're either lunch or you're enjoying it. Make sure you end up on top with the all-powerful lineup of Kia SUVs, like the Telluride, Sportage, and Sorento, equipped with available all-wheel drive, higher ground clearance, and the interior capacity to bring everything you need, so you'll always remain more than a gator's length ahead. Visit your local Kia dealer today to find your next adventure in our ever-capable lineup of SUVs. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely.
At Kroger, we know the minute a tomato is picked, the fresh timer starts. The sooner we get our produce to you, the fresher it is. That's why we've shortened the time from harvest to home for our tasty tomatoes, strawberries, and salads. So no matter how you shop, you have more time with your fresh produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.